Hi there, and welcome back to Emma Explores Everything. Woo! The bi weekly podcast where I, your host, Emma Lilly, talk about something each week from a new letter of the alphabet. This week is the letter C. So, I have two things in my life that I love, love, love that start with the letter C, and that is cats and cannabis. So, let's get it started with cats. So, I always, always, always have been a cat person. I love cats. I feel like they are the one animal that loves you, but they're not going to love you too much. Like with dogs, they really want a lot of your attention a lot of the time. And I'm just really not able to give that much constantly. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot that I'm doing. I'm filming, I'm traveling. I don't always want to go outside and take an animal on a walk several times a day. So I was not an ideal dog owner. But I've always really connected with cats. And I think it's because cats understand what you want them to do and what you don't want them to do as far as interacting with you, because they're the same way. Like, they are very matter of fact. If you're doing something that bothers them, they'll let you know, and you can let them know in similar ways, and I feel like they really get it. I also feel like they're super affectionate, but in like clean ways, like they don't lick you as much, but they love on you. I think they're really clean animals in general, and they're not smelly. Um, a lot of people don't enjoy cats because they have a litter box, but I personally feel like if I am taking care of the litter box twice a day, there is no smell. Like, people are like, oh, you can always smell when you go into a cat person's house. But I just really find that hard to believe unless they have like multiple cats and they're using the bathroom outside of the litter box, or they have like bad litter. I don't know, but I have never come home, and I'm on multiple floors, okay? So I'm not nose blind. If I was nose blind, my whole house would smell. But each story of my house has a different smell depending on different people inhabit the floors. So the first floor always smells like food. So it's not like I'm coming up to the second story and I just don't smell anything different. Like, I can smell, and I can smell the litter box if it needs to be taken care of. And it usually doesn't, because who's on top of it? I'm on top of it. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit manic today because I have a lot to do. I just finished filming a custom and then a video for my own store, and then I'm about to film another video in literally less than 30 minutes. So like, I'm trying to bang this out, but I sound crazy. Do I sound crazy? I'm looking at the microphone and talking. I might need to take a breath. Anyway, we're gonna refocus. It's 3 minutes in and I'm a fucking crazy person. Cats. I currently have two cats. One of them's name is Alma, and the other one's name is Nama. It's a little bit confusing, but they, they don't answer to each other's names somehow. Like, they know the difference between Alma and Nama, which is shocking because my mother called my brother and sister my name all the time growing up, and we would answer to it, so I don't know how the cats are better than us. But one of them, Alma, is a little tiny black cat. She's very grumpy all the time, like just the way that she sounds. Like, she's like got a very scratchy voice. And she's super light. Her fur is super soft. So I'll put a picture up of her. She's great. She's actually my boyfriend's cat. He found her outside of this place a few years ago, and she's been living here ever since. So she kind of has made this her territory. And then a year ago, well, actually, summer of 2021, I believe, I moved up here, and the day I moved here, there was a stray cat out front. And I was like, oh no, like, what's going on with this baby? And, she was so friendly. She came up to me, she'd get pets, but she was a little scared. It turns out, like, the people across the street had died of COVID, so nobody took her with them, and she had nobody to take care of her, but she was obviously an indoor cat, like, very well groomed, very sweet. So I brought her in, and, I wanted to name her Adorable and call her Dorbles, but the boyfriend did not agree, so we came up with something more sophisticated, Nama. And when I tell you the cats hate each other, they hate each other. Alma is not pleased to have somebody else in her space. And Nama, I honestly think Nama just wants to, like, wrestle and play, but Alma takes it very seriously, so they get heated very, very fast. So they're on 2 separate floors of the house. There's a screen door that separates them. And I have to do this whole process of, like, reintroducing them to one another when we have the time to do it, when we're not taking care of someone with Alzheimer's, which maybe that'll be my episode for season 2, the wonders of Alzheimer's disease. But so if you don't know, the process for introducing 2 cats to each other can be very lengthy. Like, we have not been able to really accomplish this, but you're kind of supposed to bring the new cat in, give it its own space, which we have done, and then feed them on opposite sides of a door without them seeing each other, and slowly move their bowls closer to the door so they, like, hear each other, they smell each other through the door. You're also supposed to do, like, swaps back and forth, like, so I'll take cat B to cat A's floor and cat A to cat B's floor and let them, like, be in each other's smells, and then eventually open the door. But it's a lot, and I have not been able to accomplish it. And I've never had this situation where the 2 cats hate each other so fiercely, and I think it's because they're both females. I don't know why I keep looking at the mic like that's you, like I'm talking to the mic. I'm talking to you. But it is because they're both girls. Female cats are very territorial, and I've introduced 2, like, a girl cat and a boy cat together before, and it hasn't been like this. But I think especially with them both, like, being kind of strays, both of them having their own, way of doing things, and yeah, it's crazy. It is a lot. And I don't think they'll ever like each other. I do hope one day they'll get along, but I really don't see, without me doing, like, a month or 2 of just, like, really being dedicated to them, like, a lot of my life dedicated to them, I don't see it happening. So maybe when things calm down a little bit. But if you have any tips, please leave them below. I've already tried the pheromones, so that ain't working. But cat lovers, please help me. I would love some advice. I would love some. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about my cats. I mean, I love them fiercely. If I ever go on a trip, I miss them so much. Like, seriously, the first thing that I say is, like, how's my cat? How's Nama? How's Alma doing? Like, are they good? Are they safe? Are they eating? Like, I literally would cry. The first few times I ever dropped a cat off at the vet, I cried because I thought that they would think I was taking them back to the vet, to the pound or something, and abandoning them. Like, your girl is really emotional about her cats, okay? So don't say anything bad about cats, I guess is what I'm saying. And as promised, I have to talk about my other love that starts with the C, cannabis. So I guess I should start, like, a long history of my life with cannabis as someone who's been smoking for 10 years now, which makes me feel old. So the very first time I smoked weed, I was 17. I had never gotten drunk before. I'd never done any drugs before. I was very straight-laced, but going into my senior year of high school, I had kind of become more popular. I had a lot more friends. I had a lot more opportunities, you could say. And it was homecoming, and I wanted to get drunk really bad. I remember that. I remember specifically, like, my goal for the night was to get drunk, but something happened where, like, we didn't get brought enough booze or something like that, like, and I think my friend at the time, he, like, chugged, like, a bottle of Malibu, which is disgusting if you've ever tried Malibu. Like, how he didn't get super sick, I don't know. So I was, like, bummed, you know, I wanted to have a good time, I wanted to party, so my friends, I saw them going out on the balcony, 2 of them, and I was like, you know, hey, let me come hang out with you guys. And of course, what were they doing? They were smoking weed. And I had never done it before, but I was like, when they offered, I was like, yeah, sure. It's my first time, but yeah, let's do it. I'd like to try. And so they packed this shitty little bowl, and we passed it around, and oh my god. You know how people are like, you're not gonna get high the first time? That did not apply to me. I got blazed. And I mean, we were out there for a while. We like were passing it, and I was just chatting, you know. I barely coughed, which very proud of. I mean, I cough to this day, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but I remember being, you know, cool about it. And towards the end, I remember them wrapping it up, and I was like, oh, cool, so we're done. I was like, so was that like a lot? And I remember him going, Emma, we smoked 5 bowls. We smoked 5 bowls. So I would say, yeah, that's a lot. And I was like, oh, like that just shows you how much I do not know. Well, I did not know about that whole thing. So I was so giggly that whole night. I remember we stayed up till 4 a.m. It was a lot of fun. I ended up crashing on an air mattress with my friend who drank all the Malibu, and he just kept saying like words to me. Like he would say like cupcake, and I would just burst out laughing, and we pretty much repeated that all night until I passed out. And of course, like waking up in the morning, I'm like, there's nothing funny about any of the things that he said, but I think that first time it just like really makes you bubbly and laugh and giggly, and I don't get that way anymore. I almost wish that I did. I do sometimes. I won't say that I never do. But if I could be super giggly all the time in my life, I think that would be ideal. I love to laugh, so yeah. I was pretty tired, you could say, when I got home. I remember, like, I was sober, which sucked, and I was in the shower. And I remember my whole body was, like, buzzing. And I just was thinking, you know, I want more of this. I, like, love this. And, you know, as time went on, I tried other things. You know, I've done my fair share of drugs, you could say, alcohol, all that. Nothing else has really given me that sensation, which is why I really have not been able to kick the habit for 10 years. I have now discovered photographic evidence of my parents smoking it when I was a child. There's a picture of me that my father sent to me, like smiling at the camera, and behind me is like a table with a bong on it. So I'm like, what happened? Did somebody smoke weed while I was in the womb? Like, what's going on? Like, you guys, super irresponsible. Do not recommend. Don't do that to your kids. Don't smoke around your kids, because I feel like maybe I would still be smoking weed just as much, but I feel I wouldn't have had that body vibrating, like tingling need for it afterwards, you know? Like, I don't know if I would have been so desperate to get my hands on it in some situations. Like, I really do feel like that is my one addiction, and I have made some crazy choices to get it, because I don't know, because I'm biologically, you know, weak for it. Like, I would, my freshman year of college, leave my dorm room, walk around the dorms, like outside area, courtyard, and just like sit, light it up, puff, and then get up, move really quick through the darkness to another spot, light it up, puff, like, and you know how it is, like that is paranoia just building as you're smoking, and for what? For what? I I have take I don't do this anymore, but I had a friend who was always like, oh my god, always had a ton. So I would just like take a nug off and she would never notice. Um, I have been out at bars and clubs with people smoking it, and I'll just take it from a stranger, not worried what kind of mouth disease or colds or COVID-19 that they might have. I have gone to hookups simply because I knew they would smoke me out. Um, and I guess none of that is super crazy, but definitely could have been riskier. Some of those Tinder situations could have been not so great. Um, I actually, oh my god, funny story. I had a bright idea my first tax return to buy an ounce of weed and I would sell it. Um, so I don't even remember how much I spent. Maybe like $700. I can't remember. It's been so long. I went, I got it from my friend, and I went and I put it in my trunk, like in this hidden area underneath the floor, I don't know, carpeting thing. And I was like, okay, let me make sure all my lights are working so I don't get pulled over. Of course, my tail light's out. Of course. No worries. I have a shitty old car. It kind of goes out a lot, so I have the bulbs in the car. I'll just change it really quick. Well, I can't get the fucking bulb out. I don't know. It was never that hard to get out. Usually it was one pull, no problem. And it burst. It burst in my hand, and I sliced my thumb open so bad I had to drive myself to the ER, get stitches in my thumb with an ounce of weed in the back of my car. It was not fun. It was not pleasant. I thought every moment, because of course I was like 19, every moment I thought that I was going to get arrested and sent to the slammer for an ounce, which I lived in Florida at the time, so I think they are pretty strict about that kind of thing. But, me and my friend, we tried this whole operation of selling, and I think we sold to one person, and we smoked the rest ourselves over a series of a few weeks. So, anyone out there, if you're just an amateur and you have a bright idea of buying an ounce and selling it, don't do it. You won't. You won't sell it. You'll just smoke it. So, save your money. Just buy a little bit at a time like a normal person. I used to be really into just flower. Like, I've never really gotten into dabs or resins or things like that. But it's definitely not great for your lungs. And so I've been trying to move away from it to vaping lately. And it's very... Here's the thing about vaping to me. I can never get one that tastes good. Like, I don't want fruity flavors. I think that's disgusting. But I also don't want it to taste like absolute shit. Like, could it just taste like weed? Could we just get one that tastes like marijuana, please? That would be great. And also, I go through the vape cartridges like crazy. I go through them so fast because it's so much more convenient. I don't have to stop. I don't have to grind it up. I don't have to, worry about smoke everywhere, a big smell. So I just find myself, sipping on it a lot. So I've set a new rule for myself over the last month or so, and I'm doing really good, where I'm only doing it in the evenings at night, and it's really working out good for me. I have been slowing down a lot, but I bought like $300 worth of flour, and I used that in 3 months, and I bought $200 worth of resin, and I used that in 1 month. So you can kind of see, or not resin, vapes, you know what I mean. I used that in 1 month, so you could see why I needed to slow it down. Now, I don't know if I see myself smoking forever, um, but it's definitely something that I have a hard time stopping. I'll say I am the first one that will tell you that I am addicted to it. And if I don't have it and I think about it, I really want it, and I really start thinking of ways to get it, I get aggravated. So, like, I don't think that it's really added anything to my life. I think it only has taken away money from me. And so, if anybody is out there that doesn't smoke, I'm never that person that's gonna be like pressuring you to just try it. Oh, it's no big deal. You can't get addicted to it. Nothing bad could happen. I do think it should be legalized. I think it's like, if we're gonna let alcohol be out there and cigarettes be out there, we need to let weed be out there as well. But I'm not gonna pressure anybody, and I will just be like, listen, it's not always a fun time, you know? I have had experiences where I have smoked way too much or taken way too many edibles, and it has been not a fun time. One time I made my own bong out of a water bottle, which is probably great. I'm breathing in microplastics. I can't believe I'm not like a mutated fish by now. But I just smoked way too much. I don't even know what happened. I think I was trying to not inhale. I thought that I had taken it off, but I hadn't, so it was still pulling. I saw my skull outside my head, and I saw my eyeballs, and I heard music constantly. I heard giggling, like full-on hallucinations, and not fun ones, not like cute little mushroom hallucinations where you're seeing rainbows everywhere. It was scary. Your paranoia is through the roof, and it's hard to calm down and come down. It's a little bit easier when it's, inhaled. When it's edibles, it's always a bad time. For me, it's always a bad time. I can count on, like, one hand the amount of edibles that I've had that have not made me freak out. I don't recommend them to anybody. I know that some people have a really good time on them, but you're not going to catch me popping any edibles ever. I like to be in control of the portions. I want to know that I inhale it and in 20 minutes I'm back down to earth, I don't want to be in outer space ever. Not fun. So I guess at the start of this I said that I love weed, and I don't really think that I have sold anybody on the fact that I love it, but I do enjoy it. I'm happy to smoke it. I love the smell of it. I know it smells gross to a lot of people, but I just want to just get it all in there. Like, anytime I get in somebody's car that smells like weed, I'm like happy. I'm thrilled to smell it. So I don't know what that's about. And I will definitely say, like, if you're at a party, I would rather be in that room where all the stoners are hanging out and it's like calm and people are just chatting and talking to each other and relaxing, than being in the room where like the bass is thumping and everybody's drinking and like it's just crazy, So I think that has been really helpful for me. Like, it allows me to have an excuse and a reason to be in a more calm, controlled environment in those kind of social settings. So yeah, and I think like anytime that you meet somebody that smokes, they're generally going to be a cool person. I mean, maybe not anymore. Maybe now, like, that it's more accessible, there's more personality types that can get a hold of it. But I don't know, like, I've never really had a bad time happen because we were all sitting around smoking weed. People aren't fighting, people aren't getting into trouble. We're just chilling, we're laughing, we're eating. Obviously I'm thick, so the munchies are a real problem for me. But I do give it a thumbs up. Like, of all of the vices that I have to have, I could have a number of things that are way worse. So I think I've been blessed that this is the one. But yeah, I think that is like all I have to say about cannabis and cats. If you have an idea for an episode that starts with a letter of the alphabet, please let me know, especially end letters of the alphabet. I would say like O through Z. Shoot it in the comment section. Send it to me on Twitter. Let me know. I love your ideas. I want to talk about things that interest you. And I want to know, should I have guests on? I think I will have a guest on soon, so let me know. You want to hear me talk for 30 minutes or do you want to hear me have a conversation? All right, guys, have a good week, and I'll see you again next time on Emma Explores Everything.